Welcome, curious listeners, to the Deep Dive.
Great to be here.
Today, we're plunging into a really interesting topic, one that blends nature with tech. The smart indoor garden market.
It's definitely a growing field.
Absolutely. And our insights, well, they come straight from the Smart Indoor Garden Market Report 2025 by Cognitive Market Research.
A pretty comprehensive source.
Exactly. So our mission today is to unpack this market's impressive growth, maybe pinpoint some surprising regional trends, and really try to understand what this boom means, for us as consumers and maybe broader societal shifts too.
Right. And if we just start with the global picture, it's clear this isn't just some fleeting fad. The report shows that back in 2021, the global market was valued at around $121.5 million.
Okay, 121 million.
Yeah. And fast forward to 2025, that's projected to climb over $160 million. And then looking further out, by 2033, we're looking at a market getting close to $280 million.
Wow, almost $280 million. That's quite a jump.
It is. And it represents a pretty steady compound annual growth rate, the CAGR, of about 7.2%. So that indicates, really consistent and robust momentum.
Okay, 7.2% globally. Let's definitely unpack that growth because, while those global numbers are compelling, the real story is often in the regional details, isn't it?
Absolutely.
So let's kick things off with North America. The report points to it as one of the established leaders.
That's right. North America is a significant player. It generated nearly, $44 million in revenue in 2021?
44 million.
And that's projected to more than double, hitting almost $98 million by 2033. That's growing at nearly 7% annually.
Okay, so close to the global average then.
Pretty close, yeah. And within North America, the U.S., as you'd probably guess, holds the lion's share. Canada also shows very strong uptake. But what's genuinely fascinating, I think, is Mexico.
Oh. What's happening there?
Well, it's showing really rapid acceleration. It's actually the fastest growing country in the region.
Yeah.
Okay, it's starting from a smaller base, around $1.9 million in 2021. Right.
But it's projected to reach over $5.3 million by 2033. That's an annual growth rate, get this, over 10%. 10.2%.
Wow, over 10%. That's quite a leap for Mexico. What do you think might be fueling that? Is it like urbanization, maybe a growing middle class, wanting fresh stuff, or?
Yeah, I think it's likely a mix of things. What's interesting about Mexico's growth is, well, it suggests that combination. With increasing urbanization, space gets tight, right? So these compact, smart gardens become really appealing.
Makes sense.
And there's also that rising interest globally, really, but certainly there, in self-sufficiency, access to fresh, healthy food. These systems provide that, regardless of the climate or space constraints. It's a pretty powerful signal of shifting consumer priorities.
That really does make a lot of sense. Okay, so shifting our gaze across the pond, let's talk Europe, another key player, right?
Definitely.
How does its story compare? Given its diverse cities and maybe that strong environmental focus they often have, Europe's market is also on a very solid upward path. It pulled in just over $36 million in 2021.
36 million, so a bit behind North America to start?
A little bit, yeah. But it's projected to reach over $80 million by 2033. That's an annual growth rate of just under 7%, so very similar to North America overall.
Okay.
And we see strong, consistent growth across the big economies. The UK, Germany, both projected to more than double their market sizes by 2033.
Mm-hmm.
France, Italy, Spain are also showing, healthy expansion. Places like Sweden, Denmark, Switzerland, too. Even Luxembourg is growing quite well.
Right. So pretty widespread.
It is. But what's particularly interesting, I thought, was the rest of Europe category.
Oh, yeah.
It's actually growing the fastest within Europe at an impressive just over 9% annually, 9.19%.
Over 9% for the rest of Europe. That is intriguing. It suggests it's not just the big players, but a wider adoption is happening.
Exactly. It hints at that broader embrace beyond the sort of traditional economic powerhouses.
Okay, this is where it starts to get really interesting, I think, as we look at regions showing maybe even more rapid expansion. Let's dive into Asia Pacific. What's the picture there?
Asia Pacific is certainly demonstrating robust growth. The region's revenue was around $27.8 million in 2021.
Okay, starting smaller than Europe and North America.
Yes, but projected to reach nearly $65 million by 2033. That's an annual growth rate of over 7%. 7.3% actually, so slightly outpacing the global average.
Right, and within Asia Pacific.
Well, China is the undeniable leader there, as you might expect, about $9.3 million in 2021, heading towards almost $21 million.
Okay.
But the real story, I think, in terms of rapid expansion, is India.
India. Interesting.
Yeah, India's market is rising from just over $3.4 million in 2021 to almost $9 million by 2033. That comes with a high annual growth rate of over 8.4%.
That is genuinely fascinating for India, a market you often associate with huge traditional agriculture. Does the report give any clues about who is buying these systems there? Is it mainly city dwellers or...
Well, the report doesn't dive deep into demographics specifically, but India's high growth rate, it often lines up with a few key trends. Rising disposable incomes, especially in urban centers, a growing tech-savvy population.
Right, the tech adoption piece.
Exactly. And a growing awareness around food quality, sustainability, especially in crowded cities where maybe traditional gardening just isn't feasible.
Yeah.
It really suggests a shift in what consumers want, that fresh, homegrown produce, even if they live in a modern, compact apartment.
That makes sense. And other places in Asia Pacific?
Japan and South Korea are also seeing strong, consistent growth, around 6.6 and 7% CAGR respectively. Australia, Singapore, Southeast Asia, Taiwan, all showing solid growth between 6 and 7.4% annually. It really supports the overall regional trend.
Okay, some powerful insights there. Now let's shift gears again. South America, what's happening down there?
In South America, the market's smaller in absolute terms, definitely. But it's still showing consistent expansion. It generated close to $5 million, $4.86 million in 2021.
Yeah.
And that's projected to reach over $10 million by 2033. The annual growth rate is nearing 6%, about 5.95%.
So a bit slower than the global average, but still growing.
Still growing steadily, yes.
Oh.
Brazil clearly dominates the region. Its market size is expected to more than double by 2033. Argentina is also growing steadily, over 6% CAGR. And Colombia is showing pretty good momentum, too, nearly tripling its market by 2033 with about 6.7% growth.
Colombia nearly tripling.
Yeah. Peru and Chile show slightly slower, but still positive growth. It suggests, the appeal of these smart gardens really is global. It's finding niches even across diverse South American economy.
All right, it's not confined to just the wealthiest nations. Okay, moving eastward again.
Yeah.
The Middle East. Another region we hear a lot about for tech adoption and lately sustainability focus. What's the report show there?
The Middle East market was valued at around $4.6 million in 2021.
Similar starting point to South America then.
Very similar. But it's projected to jump quite a bit higher, nearly $11.5 million by 2033. And that comes with a strong annual growth rate of almost 8%, 7.94%, so faster than the global average.
Okay. Who are the key players there?
Saudi Arabia and Turkey are significant contributors, both growing at over 7.5% annually. The UAE is particularly interesting. It shows a very high annual growth rate, over 8.6%.
Higher than India even.
Just slightly, yeah. It really indicates that strong adoption of smart home tech and maybe those sustainable living solutions we hear about.
Makes sense for the UAE.
Absolutely. Egypt and Qatar are also showing solid growth around 7.5 to 8%. But again, like in Europe, the rest of the Middle East category shows the strongest growth in the region.
Really? Faster than the UAE.
Yes, an impressive annual growth rate of almost 9.6%. 9.589% to be precise.
Wow, nearly 10% growth in the rest of the Middle East. That suggests a really broad embrace across different economies there, too.
It certainly does.
Okay, lastly, Africa. Truly an emerging market in so many tech areas. It sounds like smart indoor gardens are no exception.
Indeed. Africa is really emerging as a rapidly growing region. You could almost say an explosion in this specific market. The market stood at around $4.1 million in 2021, so the smallest starting point we've discussed.
Right.
But it's projected to reach nearly $15 million by 2033. That's almost $14.9 million. And that boasts a truly robust annual growth rate of over 10% for the region as a whole, 10.09%.
Over 10% average for the entire continent.
Yes, which, as the report notes, raises an important question. What exactly is driving this really rapid growth in Africa?
Yeah, absolutely. What does the breakdown look like?
Looking at the key countries mentioned, Nigeria and South Africa are really leading the charge. Nigeria is expected to grow from about $1.6 million to over $6.1 million. That's a CAGR of over 10.3%.
Huge growth.
And South Africa shows incredible momentum. Its projected growth rate is the highest among all the specific countries mentioned in the report.
Higher than Mexico, higher than rest of Middle East.
Yes, nearly 10.5% annually, 10.486%, growing from $1.4 million to $5.4 million.
Those figures for Africa are Well, they're absolutely remarkable. What could be contributing to such a dramatic surge, especially in a region that, often faces unique challenges?
It's a really fascinating trend. There could be several factors at play. Maybe a strong desire for improved food security, especially in urban areas where fresh produce might be harder to come by or expensive.
That makes sense. Control over your food source.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Or perhaps it's the ability to cultivate specific crops, maybe herbs or leafy greens that might be challenging to grow outdoors reliably due to climate conditions in certain areas.
Right.
And there could also be that leapfrogging effect we sometimes see with technology adoption in emerging markets.
Where consumers just jump straight to the latest solutions.
Precisely. They embrace these new solutions quickly. Smart indoor gardens offer a clean, controlled, efficient way to produce food. That's incredibly appealing, you could imagine, in many diverse African contexts.
Yeah, you really can. So, bringing it all together, what does this all mean for you, our curious listener? Our deep dive into this smart indoor garden market report clearly shows, really consistent and widespread growth right across the globe.
Definitely a global phenomenon.
We've seen North America and Europe still holding leadership positions, the established markets. Asia Pacific showing solid, significant expansion, led by China, but with India really surging. And then the really exciting emergence of regions like Africa and specific countries like Mexico as these true high-growth hotbeds for this technology.
And it's worth reiterating this comprehensive analysis, all these numbers, they're based on that meticulous data provided by Cognitive Market Research in their 2025 report.
Absolutely. So here's a final thought, maybe something for you to chew on. Given this truly global growth, right, spanning so many diverse economies, different climates, different cultures, what broader societal shifts or maybe consumer desires might be driving so many people everywhere to cultivate these smart indoor gardens? What does this trend really tell us about our changing relationship with, say, food or technology, or maybe even nature itself, especially in our increasingly urbanized world?
It's a deep question.
Definitely something to think about. Until next time on The Deep Dive.